in Park View, Oxford Road, then Hove Road and Jan Smuts Avenue. The Fours area at Winnie Mandela Drive will be between and the N1 in Mapadisa. Road report, we expect some disruptions on Henry Port Peter Road and, of course, in Nasrec on Rancho Road, Boys' Reserve Road, Nasrec Road, and Golden Highway. And we can confirm that within the Nasrec area, a full shutdown has already been implemented. Full closures on Golden Highway, that's between Rancho Road and Soweto Highway. We've also got a closure on the northern part of Rancho Road, that's between the N1 and Nasrec Road. And then the southern part of Rancho Road has been converted into a dual carriage to allow contraflow of traffic. This is to accommodate residents of Armando View, the residential area adjacent to Nasrec, so that they can have access going in and out of their homes.
Mr. Fitler, and there's a lot to talk about. And of course, the SABC News, as the official host broadcaster, will be beaming all of these visuals and the routes, the maps, and all of that. But just very briefly, and I know we'll engage you more, but for tomorrow, especially, when these heads of state will be making their way to Nasrec for the Leaders Summit, what is the protocol going to be if, for instance, they are making their way from Sandton to Nasrec? How will ordinary road users be affected?
It will affect ordinary road users to a certain degree, because when then the convoys are moving from the various areas, the areas that I did mention, the roads will be completely closed off, and the movement from all the road users, it's not only motorists but pedestrians and cyclists as well, definitely be limited. So what we can reassure our residents is that soon after the convoys have moved past, then the roads will be reopened, but they can expect between 30 to 60 minutes delays in some areas. And that's why we then are encouraging them to use any alternative routes that have been provided in those areas.
And the times during which this is expected?
This is expected between 7 and 10 in the morning and 5 and 8 in the evening. But with the other areas, except for Nasrec, it will be soft and rolling closures. As I did mention, that when the vehicles have passed, then the roads will be reopened. So after 10 in the morning, then day-to-day business will definitely continue as normal within the Sandton area and other areas as well. And also in the evening, then they'll have disruptions between 5 and 8. But then within the Nasrec area, then that's where we'll be having most of the full closures, as I did mention, on Golden Highway on Rancho Road. We'll also have a closure on Nasrec Road as well. That's from the 22nd and the 23rd as well.
Xolani Fihla, thank you so much for your time, spokesperson for the Johannesburg Metro Police Department.
We're delving deeper into the world of mining and engineering. From the coalface with Martin Creamer.
That time again on a Friday when Update at Noon presents another update from the coalface with Martin Creamer, publishing editor of Engineering News and Mining Weekly. Good afternoon, Martin.
Good afternoon, Sakina.
Martin, South Africa's important platinum business has been boosted and sky high by the looks of it by a new futures exchange.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this futures exchange in China for a long time now. They decided to go ahead with it. Work. One of the myths around it is that it won't only be ingot that is traded, but also sponge. Could make it ready for industry. That could, the economics. I've been at D20 and D20. I mean, I've been driving around in a hydrogen fuel cell Toyota. And the CEO from Toyota arrived in a hydrogen fuel cell Toyota. When you hear hydrogen fuel cell, you think platinum. So, if we can start doing it around here and China gets ahead, fantastic for our platinum business. It would be fantastic for our economics, because helping with all this is also Safil, helping with all of its products, helping with all of it is Mandili Energy, which is a women-owned business. Membranes to Bosch, which provides the fuel cell engine. Fantastic system that they need to develop.
Martin, the global platinum market is also expected to return to a supply and demand balance next year.
Yeah, this was coming through from the World Platinum Investment Council. All their calculations point to the fact that the supply-demand situation should move away from deficit to a balance in 2016. They say it's all contingent upon that tariffs. So, if those tariffs continue to pop up so unexpectedly, it could set us back again. But hopefully, for the sake of our mining industry, yeah, technical development, it's never good to have price spikes and price dip. Hopefully, we'll be right, and hopefully, we won't have these terrible tariffs popping up all the time.
And just finally, next year's big mining indaba, that's expected to be the most important ever for the continent of Africa. Tell us why.
I tell you why. Because it's going to come against the background of this B20 and T20. I've never seen so many clouds in my life. I mean, I've been optimistic for the last 2 years. It's just unbelievable. And the message all the time is Africa must work through. We cannot continue. So you can't have these 54 African countries. Borders, got a road and it stops at the border, and then that interferes with all the economics when it comes to critical minerals and metals. You need to have that transmission line going across the border. You need to have regional cooperation, and this is what Ndaba pushed like crazy. Like they've never done it in their lives before. And this is the biggest platform in Africa to do it. It's the most informal. It's got the people there who are in politics, but also the people there in politics, and they can do a lot. Next February.
Well, we can't wait. Martin Creamer, and he'll be back with another edition of At the Coalface, same time next Friday. And that's all our time for this afternoon. But of course, not forgetting we have the G20 Leader Summit taking place in Nasrec. That's, of course, tomorrow and on Sunday. But already throughout the day, you will be hearing more of leaders arriving. I can tell you, whilst we were on air, the Brazilian president Lula da Silva has arrived in the country, as have many others already, and we still wait for the rest to make their way here onto African soil to Johannesburg. But thank you so much for listening to us. Thanks to the production team, and please be safe. We'll speak to you again on Monday as updated noon. But of course, SABC News staying with you. Here's Ondelambana with the latest.
Thank you, Sakina, and the team on the top stories. Ports of entry remain stable amid the G20 summit, and Japan's cabinet approves stimulus packages worth billions of dollars. For SAFM News, I'm Ondalambana, and a very good day. The Border Management Authority says all ports of entry across South Africa remain stable and incident-free as delegations continue to arrive for the G20 summit. BMA Commissioner Dr. Michael Masiapato says heads of state, senior government officials and various high-level teams have been landing throughout the past 24 hours with no disruptions. Arrivals already processed include EU President Ursula von der Leyen, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, Malaysian President Anwar Ibrahim, the President of the European Council Antonio Costa, Vietnam's Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh, China's Premier Li Qiang, and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, among others. More delegations are expected to arrive throughout the day. BMA Deputy Assistant Commissioner for Communication and Marketing, Meme Mokgotsi.
Despite the heightened security environment, increased traveler volumes, and the complex coordination required across multiple ports of entries, all arrivals were processed efficiently. Our system across key ports of entries are fully operational, supported by the BMA ICT technicians deployed strategically at OR Tambo International Airport, Lanseria International Airport, Waterkloof Air Force Base.
Social activists who participated in the silent nationwide shutdown at Marentia Botanical Gardens in Johannesburg say their presence is in solidarity with other women and gender-based violence survivors. Hundreds of women, members of the LGBTQIA and women's rights groups, mostly dressed in black and purple, believe the demonstration of laying down for 15 minutes to honor the 15 women murdered every day will make a difference. The Union Buildings in Pretoria is filled with over 1,000 people from all walks of life, united in their call to end gender-based violence. Men and women and old have come together to say enough is enough. Men who joined the movement say women need to be protected and not killed. The nationwide shutdown is a show of solidarity with people from all provinces taking part and using the G20 platform to raise this awareness. Kamohelo Masinga called for the violence against women to stop.
When women birth us as men and build society through that, it's something a man can never experience. And if we are to harm the people who basically birth our nation, then what future do we have for ourselves? And what do we think of ourselves in the same way?
I would just like to know why the rest of the country, we don't go out and violate women. Why do they? I would like to know. It's not, I don't have a message. It's disgusting.
Police in Mpumalanga investigating a case of murder after a 38-year-old man was found shot and killed in Guchwane near Kabokweni in Bombela. Provincial Police spokesperson Jabun Dubane says they received a call alerting them about the deceased person. She says on arrival, they found the community members gathered around the body.
Receive a complaint from 10111 that there is a person who has been shot at Buchwa Trust next to Buchwa Clinic. Police rushed to the scene and found a male person lying on the ground facing down on the construction site. On a closer look, the member noticed that the victim was shot several times all over the body. The rifle cartridges and pistol cartridges were scattered next to the body.
There has been a chaotic scene at the Polokwane Magistrates Court in Limpopo, where a well-known Likompo musician, Litlogonolo Chauke, popularly known as Shebe Mabena, is appearing. A high number of his fans were trying to enter the courtroom to have a glimpse of the musician. The court authorities had to remove all the people in the gallery to give preference to the family members of both the accused, Shebe Mabena, and the victim. He is applying for bail for alleged attempted murder. He allegedly shot and wounded a passenger in a car last month. The incident happened at Latana in Polokwane. This is how the situation developed.
So that family, friends, as well as the family of the victim can get inside first. Not everyone is allowed inside court because people are fighting to get inside.
Japan's cabinet has approved a stimulus package worth more than $130 billion. It's the first major policy initiative of the new Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi, and is in the largest spending plan since the COVID-19 pandemic. The BBC's Nick Marsh has the details.
The world's fourth largest economy has been struggling with poor growth and low productivity for many years now. More recently, its people have also had to contend with rising prices. This package, Ms. Takaichi argues, will ease the pressure on households by subsidising their energy bills and lowering taxes. The downside is that this bumper package will only add to Japan's already colossal public debt, not to mention weaken its currency, which could make key imports more expensive.
Recapping the top story, the Border Management Authority says all ports of entry across South Africa remain stable and incident-free as delegations continue to arrive for the G20 summit. I'm on Delambano for SFM News Headlines at 1:30.
Introducing South Africa's most affordable way to get hearing aids. At Specsavers Audiology, you can now get a pair of hearing aids from as little as 599 Rand per month. Hearing clearly shouldn't be a luxury. Enjoy life's moments from 599 Rand per month. Test your hearing today and join the conversation with Specsavers Audiology. T's and C's apply.
Reigning champions, the Reds, believe a win at Anfield always brings great euphoria to their fanatics.
And he finds a cross. He stands to Ekatike, and Kirkes has given Liverpool a lifeline. His first Liverpool goal, and it could be vital just before the break.
While the Trick-or-Treats are searching for a top-of-the-range strategy to defeat the Reds.
Driven in by Nico Williams. Well, it may have taken Liverpool 95 minutes to break Burnley down.
This is the Premier League. Witness the thrilling contest between Liverpool FC versus Nottingham Forest on Saturday, 22 November at 4:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC 3. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
This November, SFM proudly presents the third annual lecture.
I do want to say that in the public service, there are also checks and balances. The fact that people may not have applied doesn't mean it's not there.
SFM invites you to our third annual public lecture, delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, Dr. Geraldine Fraser Muleketi. The theme of the lecture is confronting inequality, corruption and unemployment.
Let's hold everyone accountable and to standards, whether you have a GNU or not.
The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Fourways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
Extraordinary doesn't just happen, it's built brick by digital brick. Vodacom Business is helping shape South Africa's businesses from scalable cloud and AI that powers smarter decisions to IoT and connectivity that bridges every gap. Backed by security that you can trust. Together with business and government, Vodacom Business is building stronger industries and thriving communities, a nation ready to lead. Visit www.vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
SAFM 104 to 107, nationwide.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Oh, mele wazi umlingo sebenza naphakathi kwakha mele sanyazi ukuba wena uyohlala uhlele ngethemba kuwe. Oh, uyisakasi yami udami oh, mele sanyazi ukuba wena uyohlala uhlele ngethemba kuwe. Oh, uyisakasi yami ikokabisile bengwa. Oh,
Right, that is how we kick off the show today. We thought we'd take advantage of the fact that it is a Friday and we have a full show today and begin with a little bit of a musical offering. We haven't done that in a very, very long time. Calvin Momo featuring Sino with Waze Wamuhle, bringing us to around 18 past 1 o'clock on this fine Friday afternoon. Lots happening by way of the social political calendar today as we head into the final stages of the G20. I mean, I don't know if we can say we are counting down one day to go. Technically, it's one day to go until the global leaders of those 20 nations confine themselves behind closed doors tomorrow for those very important conversations. However, the festivities, the conversations, the sideline meetings, the various G20 conversations have been ongoing for the last week or so in Johannesburg. But of course, it is crunch time this weekend. Lots of fanfare. We were talking with my team and Kathy's team that there's been so much fanfare, and we do like a little pomp and ceremony every so often. It's been beautiful to watch on SABC News and other news outlets, all the various arrivals of the various prime ministers and heads of states and various delegations that have descended and landed between OR Tambo and Waterkloof Airport. It's also been wonderful to hear some of the more interesting tidbits of commentary around certain symbolisms and significance of certain things and the different role players and the various stakes that are on the table this coming weekend. And those conversations are going to continue throughout SABC as well as SAFM. Also, if you have our app, SABC Plus is broadcasting 24 hours, everything that's happening in and around the G20. From our side, we're going to catch up today around the Women for Change that has, well, the Women for Change campaign that has been happening today, 21st of November. You know that Women for Change called for all women and members of the LGBTQI plus community across South Africa to refrain from all paid and unpaid work in workplaces, universities, in homes, and in communities to demonstrate that economic and social impact of our absence. And this comes on the back of the fact that South Africa is facing one of the most violent and deadliest gender-based violence epidemics in the world. Much higher, 6 times higher, in fact, than anywhere else in the globe. So we're going to catch up with some folks around what's been happening there. 12 o'clock was the big call to action moment. So we'll reflect on that. We're also going to bring you stages, pages, screens, and more. And then later on in the show, we're going to catch up with Usiwela Langeni around the book circle. And we're going to get the latest editions that we should be adding to our summer reading. It's just gone 20 past 1 o'clock on the full circle with myself, Bridget Masinga.
So, you just switched to a different brand of kitchen and home appliances. And you're still getting products with stylish designs, built to last and perform, and more features than you expect for the price. Of course, because you made a clever switch to Clicks Cambrook appliances with Clicks trusted quality and great value. When you switch, it just clicks. Switch and save only at Clicks.
5 teams, one epic journey. No flights, no smartphones, just grit, maps, and pure determination. Race Across the World Season 3 is back, and the stakes have never been higher. From bustling cities to remote villages, who will conquer the chaos and cross the finish line first? Thursdays at 6 p.m. only on S3.
Extraordinary is built brick by digital brick. Vodacom Business powers strong businesses and thriving communities with scalable cloud, trusted security, smart AI, and IoT that connects what truly matters. This is how we're building a nation that's connected, empowered, and ready to lead. Visit www.vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
The Gauteng Provincial Legislature is opening its doors and putting accountability in the spotlight. Tune into the Talking Point on Wednesday, the 26th of November, for a special Chairpersons Roundtable discussion. Go behind the scenes with chairpersons in the social cluster as they share how committees drive oversight, transparency, and meaningful public engagement. Brought to you by the Gauteng Provincial Legislature.
Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
All right, today is a very, very important and significant day, not just because we are seeing the various heads of state descending for that historic G20 summit that's being held for the first time on African soil, but because also today provided for an optimum environment and stage for Women for Change, as well as other NPOs and organizations within the GBV activism space to really take full advantage of this moment and bring to global attention some of the issues that South African women and the LGBTQI plus communities face on a day-to-day basis. They called on all of us to support their endeavors come this afternoon at 12 o'clock. Of course, there were marches happening in every corner of the country in solidarity. And at 12 o'clock, there was a 15-minute lay down which signified rather the impact of GBV and the women who've lost their lives in the country. They also called on all women to wear black as a sign of collective mourning for lives that have been lost. And if you are a woman like myself in broadcasting that has to keep the fires burning, and a lot of us have been broadcasting throughout the day in solidarity, of course, reinforcing the call by Women for Change and all of us wearing black to show our collective galvanizing with the movement. We are joined now by Unonhlanhla Ntshingela, who's the SABC news reporter currently at the Union Buildings. How are you, Unonhlanhla?
I'm good in yourself, Bridget.
I'm great. I mean, give us a sort of feel for what the morning and the afternoon has been like from your vantage point.
Well, for now, everyone has dispersed, but in the morning when we got here, at first they wanted to break because that were closed, but eventually opened the gate. Numbers, we're talking about over 1,000 women were here, they were gathered here. Men came just to show their support to women that they are with them in the struggle.
Mm. I mean, this is not the first time we've seen a collective galvanizing of South African women around the issue of GBV. In 2018, we saw the hashtag Total Shutdown movement as well take to the streets on August the 1st. And it just like the Women for Change movement, it was a massive nationwide protest against gender-based violence. Have we seen any improvement towards this conversation between 2018 and now 2025 with this call that's been made by Women for Change?
Well, I think there has been a very change because right now you'd understand that in all the provinces that have joined, even all townships, I'm talking about Hammersmith, Soshanguve, they even gathered just to show their support. So they couldn't come at the union building. So this shows that there is an improvement, and it also shows that women are working together just to fight the violence here in South Africa.
I mean, to sort of mobilize on a national scale like this takes a lot of grit and a lot of effort. But as you say, it also shows that this is a national problem that doesn't just affect women of a particular community, but that affects everybody.
Yes, true. That's Bridget. So different kinds of women who gave us their side of their story, how they lost their loved ones, and they didn't find any justice. They really hope that from joining this movement after the 15 minutes of lying down, they'll find some peace and also from sharing other women's story that's going to bring them peace and also bring them closure or whatever. That there's no justice whatsoever. And they also hope that this platform is going to give them a space so that the president can hear their cries, and especially now that they've met here at Union Building. Because some of the presidency they can join them and take their memorandum. Unfortunately, none of the presidency came through. They hope that going forward, maybe the coming next day, give them a call and say they can bring their memorandum through. But all in all, everything went well. It was a very peaceful march besides the incident that happened in Russia. But other than that, everything was fine, everything was smooth, and we see that women's class numbers justified the strategy plan.
Yeah. Nonhlanhla Nchingela, thank you so much for giving us that lowdown. Nonhlanhla is an SABC news reporter and currently at the Union Buildings on the aftermath of that women's shutdown that was called for by Women for Change, asking every South African woman to galvanize towards a common cause today, a day before the, of course, historic sitting of those global leaders in Johannesburg. And the call for actions was for women to not partake in any paid or unpaid labor. And not to spend any money and withdraw from the economy for just one day. And of course, join that 15-minute standstill that was to take place at 12 exactly this afternoon. And if you had to be a woman that had to engage in economic activity, then you were to wear black in solidarity with the movement. And as you've seen across all broadcast stations this morning, a lot of the women in broadcasting are wearing black in solidarity to that conversation. It's been an ongoing one in the country, like I said, taking it back to 2018 with hashtag total shutdown, where the same call was made. And the key demands included a national action plan, a dedicated fund to combat GBV, and concrete policy changes like an automated registry for protection orders. And of course, in response, the government then held a national summit against gender-based violence and femicide in October of 2018, aiming to find some kind of collective resolution. And as recent as April this year, there are now 66 operational Tutuzela care centers that focus on GBV at police stations across South Africa, which is a slight increase from the 55 that were. The conversation still continues today, a very, very important day across all fronts indeed. It's just gone 1:30. Ondela is coming through with the headline news.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Vilenkosini Hlabisa has welcomed the decision to officially declare gender-based violence and femicide a national disaster. The Border Management Authority says all ports of entry across South Africa remain stable and incident-free as delegates continue to arrive for the G20 summit. And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi says he will present India's perspective on global economic cooperation and development challenges facing the global south at the G20 summit. A full update for those at the top of the hour.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Time and culture for pregnant, egg-shaped escape. We all lose hope in our elements. Parents pay dues, same clef, same hue. Hippie bass, chasing a space just to praise who. Wings spark tension, respect. Pavements adjacent, cause fucking streets are spaceless and a touch too complacent. We walk, talk, and change minds with crookedy eyes. I listen, begging to high just to bless my high or my sky. We met in township, we courtship, but you and I pregnant. Never with thought, always got caught by throws that fly. We be laced, we blaze clean. And these black, yellow, and days green. And these black, yellow, and days green. And these black, yellow, and days green. Excuse me as I kiss you high. Pregnant, you ask why townships never kiss the sky. I said our courtship.
SAFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. PO Box 142365. Craig Hall 2024. Fax to 011-326-3198 or an email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za. Bridget Masinga is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
Before we go any further, a sincere apologies from our end as we faded out on that song. We realized that it had some explicits in the lyrics. So we sincerely apologize for the blurt out of that word that should not be aired at all. We played the song because we talk to the lead vocalist of the group in this next segment. Brother moves on, but I hope you accept our apologies for that mishap from our end. Let's get into stages, pages, screens, and more now. And we're looking at when the arts meets social activism and what is the role of the artist.
Stages, pages, screens, and more on the Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
All right, we are talking to Siyabonga Mthembu, now lead vocalist of the Brother Moves On. And while the world's most powerful economies are meeting behind closed doors at the G20 summit as of tomorrow and concluding on Sunday, movements from across Africa and the global south will also gather under the banner of We the 99 at Constitution Hill to offer human and practical alternatives to a global economic system that is oftentimes said to be rigged in favor of the elites and the billionaires. We're catching up now with artist Siyabonga Mthembu to talk not only about We the 99, but also the role of art and artists in engaging social activism. How are you doing this afternoon?
Hi, Bridget. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for the time. Let's, I guess, first and foremost, talk about, exactly that, the intersection between arts and artists and social activism. How important is the role of artists in engaging such conversations?
I think South Africa, firstly, thank you for having me. I think South Africa being authentic would not have liberation if art wasn't liberation. So it's liberation and corporate harmony. Our global stars, which traveled and were exiled, spread the message about what's happening. So it's the same. I don't think you can't make even part the social and
And when we talk about social activism, Siyabong, I think in part we speak as well about exactly what you just said in the last bit of that sentence is, reflecting the social dynamics of the lived experience of South Africans, of communities from which artists create and are creators.
Yeah, exactly. And part and parcel of those things. I think there's a switch art you do between so I sort of realized that that's people to deal with the people with people why matter the so
Absolutely. Today, we're also highlighting the call by Women for Change, for instance, and calling on all NGOs and all MPOs and all South African citizens to galvanize under one banner, to come together under one banner, and declare GBV a national disaster in South Africa. Your thoughts on the role of men in this conversation? The role of men to really recognize themselves as feminists and allies to the change that we want to see.
It is, I was like, it's most vital because if you realize you're the perpetrator, so you need to change the consciousness. And I think in a lot of times when everybody asks about everybody, all boys, but I think some boys, we need boys to respect themselves, women need to also engage, and that's why we are allies.
I love what you say, and I appreciate what you say about the need to change the way in which we engage boys and the way in which we focused on boys and what those conversations mean and the impact that they have. Because I completely agree with you. I think the focus has been one-dimensional in forgetting that we're raising holistic human beings here that must be compassionate and considered.
Yeah, and must be able to how, able to part and parcel of changing this world. I feel a lot of men demote we're allies, but we feel there's not much we can do. But there is so much we can do within our own community. And it's just how are we as a state those
let's talk as well about your participation in the We the People event and the message you hope to carry through from this.
Vitally, I'm trying to point to the idea of song as a metaphor. So a lot of the trying to sing along. I always say whenever we're overseas, from a country that has and point to that metaphor is that we're only going to change not by closed doors in the G20, but by conversation. That the part of understanding order.
Let me ask you just also, because I'm quite curious, in our last minute, the name The Brother Moves On. some background.
From the series The Wire, myself and my late cousin were watching an episode where the assassin, the brother moves on, very queer and homosexual space, moved into quite a very masculine space. And there's like the name because love for brothers, we're not a static band. If you have to,
yeah. Absolutely. We appreciated the time with you this afternoon, Siyabonga. Thank you so much. That was Siyabonga Mthembu, lead vocalist from The Brother Moves On. It's just gone 22 2 o'clock. We're going to hit a quick pause button, reset a little bit, and then we come back on the other side and we have a conversation with the Free State. And they being a place to go to explore as a destination for outdoor adventures and festive season fun.
Mzansi, get ready. 7:30 is the time for Champions Call, a powerful documentary that takes you on an exciting journey through the 14-year evolution of the Carling Cup, powered by Carling Black Label. From iconic players and inspiring coaches to the fans who light up the game, this documentary brings back the moments, emotions, and memories that shaped South African football. Catch Champions Call on Saturday, 22 and 29 November on SABC1 and SABC Plus at 7:30 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
It's Black November at MTN. A whole month of great deals. Get a 100 gig MTN mobile internet Ruby plan, now just $319 per month for 12 months. And for just 20 Rand extra per month, add a 4G pocket router and connect up to 10 devices. Plus, get a free 10 gig startup bundle, redeemable on the MTN app. So don't miss out. Visit an MTN store or mtn.co.za now. T's and C's apply. Today, we make moves. MTN.
I'm Michelle Constant. Join the JSB crew and I every Saturday and Sunday morning between 7 and 10 a.m. We promise to keep you informed and entertained with innovation, culture, cars, travel, life learnings, environment, and of course, your big fat juicy. Small stories, big ideas, massive inspiration. The Jet Set Breakfast on SAFM.
The Gauteng Provincial Legislature is opening its doors and putting accountability in the spotlight. You can tune into the Talking Point on Wednesday, the 26th of November, for a special chairpersons roundtable discussion. Go behind the scenes with chairpersons in the social cluster as they share how committees drive oversight, transparency, and meaningful public engagement. Brought to you by the Gauteng Provincial Legislature.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
SAFM commemorates Disability Rights Awareness Month under the theme Celebrating 30 Years of Democracy, Creating Strategic, Multi-Sectoral Partnerships for a Disability-Inclusive Society. SAFM supports and works tirelessly towards equity and equality for those with disabilities. Empowerment is key. Let us break the barriers and improve the quality of life for those with disabilities. Our efforts towards a better life for those with disabilities can only be impactful when we do so together. We do not tolerate any kind of discrimination. Disability Awareness Month 2025 on SAFM 104 to 107 FM nationwide, leading the conversations that move us. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Alrighty, let's catch up with MEC Ketso Makume, who is the MEC for Finance, Economic Development and Tourism in the Free State. And MEC was taking part in the Women for Change campaign today, calling for an end to GBV. And he was out at the Freedom Square in Bloemfontein. First and foremost, maybe let's reflect on your experiences this morning in allyship with South African women. How are you doing, MEC?
Good morning, sisters, and morning to your listeners. My experience has been the usual one. This one was so unique about one that also massive numbers attended. I think that the message now that is trying to be as much as being and make them to understand that GBV not just a women issue, but it's a and it needs all of us. But also men who spoke were saying not yeah. So that's the most important thing. Men in our community, all these activities against them. We should know that they are not doing it on their behalf. Just do them for their own selfish personal interest. It has absolutely nothing to do but I mean, this one positive so much.
Wonderful to hear that men came out in Bloemfontein in their numbers to show their support for this incredible initiative and also just to address what really is a dire and pressing issue for South African women and, dare we say, also South African men. Just to shift focus a little bit, because we did plan to talk to you about all the fabulousness that's going to be happening in the Free State this festive season. We're getting ready. Of course, the big days are upon us. Once the visitors leave, we will throw open the bubbly and and open the big days season. And the Free State is launching its 2025 summer campaign.
Yes. That's one positive thing about the system. Remember, one advantage is that we are positioned the center of the We are bordering at least 6 provinces, and the corporate country policy just next to us. So it makes us to be one of the most attractive provinces. And the only problem has been that we have never found the right to ensure that we expose some of our fabulous hidden gems to the city. Most jewels, natural things that will just blow your mind, or will just take your eye away. You know, and these are the things that we really focus on in this summer campaign. Just actually makes the point that the most that we launched yesterday just insisted in a province not to go through
but the province where you have to go to. Because people have been taken to those ones are from Joburg who have their homes in Pakistan. Those ones from Kuala, they also take or not that. So this was the go-to province. So you're making a point now that it's not a go-to province. So I'm launching, so we're already launched, but tomorrow we are continuing with an event that we launched last year. The one of the 4x4.
Yeah.
Yesterday, or a year before, a year that we actually managed to get 30 of the 4x4 participants together with some of the revelers who came to the free state. This year, I can completely tell you that the number has doubled itself. Those who have registered, the number is 100, but those who have completely confirmed, like the number is 8. So it means there's a show of interest. This thing is happening in Paris. Paris, where the place called Passenger Field. In the Passenger Field, that's where two rivers come together. The President River and the Orange River. But let me tell you the story about Passenger Field. Passenger Field means between the rivers, where the rivers come together. The most magical thing that happens there is about nature. The rivers, even when they come together, the colors will always remain the same. Marathon River remains blue and Orange River remains orange. Even when they come together, they never try to become one.
Oh, very interesting. Yes. I mean, you make me want to come to the Free State.
I'm telling you, my sister. So the 4x4 is happening there. There's a nice campsite which the participants will be enjoying. The reason we wanted the 4x5 is because we want them to come as participants. But in future, we want them to come as stories and investors in our areas. Because most of them is people are making it that people who have people who always look and seek for opportunities. The other thing that we're going to do tomorrow is that there'll also be a cookout.
I want you to hold that thought, MEC. I can hear you very excited about the festive itinerary, but hold that thought for a second so that we take the ad break and then we'll come back on the other side and continue our conversations. And as we talk to the MEC, I'm casting my eye on SABC News 404 and seeing that the Indian Prime Minister has just touched down at Waterkloof Airport for, of course, that G20 summit. We are very obsessed with seeing all the different arrivals from our end. So we'll give you some tidbits about this arrival probably in the next 5-6 minutes or so as we prepare for Ondela at the top of the hour.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
The best of the good life is coming back in 2026. But first off, Billings, Jonathan, Fez, and myself reunite for a road trip to the top beaches in SA. Kraalbaai, Camps Bay, Boulders Beach, and Nature's Valley. Don't miss the Top Billing Reunion Special, Thursday 27th November at 7 p.m. with repeat Saturday 29th at 3 and Sunday the 30th at 1 p.m. S3, open up.
The Minister in the Presidency for Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, Sindisiwe Chikunga, will on the 25th of November 2025 officially launch the 16 Days of Activism for No Violence Against Women and Children under the theme Litsema, Men, Women, Boys and Girls, working together to end gender-based violence and femicide. Tune in to The Talking Point, coming to you live from the launch at the Gallagher Estate in Gauteng.
Streaming Scheme Sum on the way to class.
Catching the Premier League while waiting for your order.
Jamming to Metro FM before you even get out of bed.
On SABC Plus, sinayo yonke into ifunayo. Your shows, your music, your way, anytime, anywhere. Zero subscription fees.
On your phone, tablet, or smart TV.
Download SABC Plus on iOS or Google Play Store.
Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
We are chatting still with MEC Kitso who joins us now, MEC of Finance, Economic Development and Tourism in the Free State. And they've just launched their 2025 summer campaign, which they launched at the beginning of November. And the MEC is taking us through what the itinerary might look like for the summer if you are headed to the Free State. The call is to go to the Free State and not to go through the Free State on your way somewhere else. So entice us a little bit more there, MEC. I mean, we know that you're very excited to host the 4x4 Eco Challenge, but what else is on the agenda, or perhaps what other places of interest will our listeners be most delighted to go and experience in the Free State?
Thank you very much, my sister, once more again. In the very same district, Karim district, we also have the largest dam called Karim Dam. The most unique thing there is that you can book a boat and just sleep or be accommodated in a boat, sit and dance there. They actually dance and sleep there. So what is going to is that we take the boat right inside the dam, and then that's where we're going to see. It's huge. People are just worried. People are from the wedding, people are just trying to get the house in order in relation to the relationship. So that's why always we said about love, about inspiration. That's the nature of the text, that is one of those like secret, there are also activities that are taking place. When you go to Tanzania, there's a place that I think most of you know about it. The place is called Khodumodumo Center. The Khodumodumo Center, we are told that in the olden days, after the Khodumodumo has been eroded by the evolution, they only remain in that area. Just what I'm talking about is clearance. So, next clearance is now established the Khodumodumo Information Center. We will get the stories of the humankind. One of the things that blew my mind was that the day that we see today, that actually part of the evolutionary process of dinosaurs. It's about dinosaurs. But yes, and those were the last victims on Earth. Only in that place, there are still remaining their bones. When you get into that center, you will be blown up. But go there again. There's one beautiful tree called Cetacea tree. We went there last week. And when I first said it, somebody said to me, "You're not in the city. You're in Mexico." I said, "You are right in the city. The place where to go to, another place that you do too." And when we come to Grand Fountain again, you know that the liberation and the biggest country in the continent now have gone here. So the church, what is missing was still there, beautiful. And the wisdom of the national executive is that but the nice thing also about Grand Fountain is the experience of the people. You know that in Grand Fountain, we have a beautiful team that is called the Summer Sale. Grand Fountain 20. The team I always tell people, it's a team without players, the team with supporters. You see the people, they sing, they do everything. Sometimes you don't even watch the team, but they will make you to enjoy everything. They also have their own thing. When you go to South, One River, Paris, there's a lot of activities around the river, which also from one side to the right in Southeast. So, when
We have to leave it there for this afternoon. But I think you've definitely sparked our interest in the Free State and coming through to experience what the Free State has to offer for summer 2025. That was MEC Kitso Makume, who's the MEC for Finance, Economic Development and Tourism in the Free State. And as you heard, the Free State is a province for you to go to and not to go through. We are about to hit a quick pause so that we can take Andela at the top of the hour. But of course, we are also keenly watching the visuals from our SABC News channel 405, which is giving you the full cover, blow by blow, of everything that is G20 related as the host broadcaster for the G20 summit and broadcasting to all 20 nations. Taking their broadcast feed from SABC. We're just seeing now touching down at Waterkloof is the Indian Prime Minister. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has just arrived for this, and it's a 3-day South Africa visit. And some of what's on his agenda at the summit is he's expected to speak in all 3 sessions on inclusive economic growth, climate resilience, as well as artificial intelligence, and India being a big player when it comes to those themes. And under the Prime Minister, who spearheaded efforts that have led to the African Union joining the G20, an achievement that's termed as a landmark during India's G20 presidency back in 2023. So I'm pretty sure whilst Ondela brings you the top of the hour news, we'll be watching the wonderful visuals of the Prime Minister deplaning from his plane at Waterkloof. And hopefully, I'm also very interested in the different cultural activities that we present as they walk through and walk down the red carpet. It's very nice to see what offering we are bringing. I saw gumboot dancers earlier on. At some point, I'm pretty sure I'm also going to see piano dancers doing something in one of these tarmacs. Let's take a quick pause for an ad break, and then we'll come back with Ondela at 2:00.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
These are the weekend shows on SAFM. Music of Africa with Shailan Dikumana. The Weekend View with Bongiwe Swane. The Jet Set Breakfast with Michelle Constant. Seasons with Homozo KG Mwekezi. The Soundtrack of Your Life with Ernest Pillay. Weekend Sundowner Classics with Kutlwano Masote. Spotlight with Zai Khan. The Weekend with John Kherika. Shifting Your Lens with Bertha Charuma. This is SAFM.
With the ever-changing financial landscape, it can be difficult to make sense of all the moves at times. Join me, Jimmy Moyaha, on the SAFM Market Update with MoneyWeb, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 to 7 p.m, as we break down the key market trends, top financial stories, and smart investment insights, all in one place. It's everything you need to stay financially informed and ahead of the curve.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Thank you, Bridget. On the top stories, Cocktail welcomes the GBV National Disaster Declaration and ports of entry remain stable amid the G20 summit. For SAFM News, I'm Ondelambana, and a very good day. Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Velengosini Hlabisa has welcomed the decision to officially declare gender-based violence and femicide a national disaster. This as women and men across the country have embarked on a shutdown, bringing focus on the escalating violence against women and children in the country. The National Disaster Management Centre has classified GBVF as a national disaster in terms of Section 23 of the Disaster Management Act. Doctor spokesperson Pearl Maseko Bingose says ongoing acts of violence prompted the conclusion that GBVF meets the threshold of being a potential disaster.
This decisive action follows a thorough reassessment of previous reports and updated submissions from organs of state as well as civil organizations. After evaluating the persistent and immediate life safety risks posed by ongoing acts of violence, the National Disaster Management Centre has concluded that GBVF now meets the threshold of a potential disaster as defined in the Act.
The inquiry into the fitness to hold office of suspended South Gauteng Director Andrew Chauke could be delayed after the NPA legal team requested an early adjournment. This comes as National Director of Public Prosecutions Advocate Shamila Batohi was scheduled to continue her testimony. President Cyril Ramaphosa suspended Chauke in July. Batohi has accused Chauke of making ill-informed prosecutorial decisions while handling racketeering charges against former KZN Hawks head Major General Johan Boysen. The NPA's legal representative, Advocate David Mohlamunyane, elaborates on the reasons for seeking an early adjournment.
At the moment, I seem to lose track of certain issues that I need to put before this tribunal. And I'm putting forward an application that the matter be adjourned so that I can put myself together and be able to marshal these proceedings in the best way possible. I'm mindful of the fact that we have to proceed with the matter and try to cover mileage. But I'm asking the panel to give me more time to put myself together, and because I'm losing certain track of certain documents that are important, which need to be placed before this tribunal. If you can give me time until Monday.
Meanwhile, presiding judge Bess Ngabinde holds a different view. She advised the team to discuss their challenges before she could consider the NPA's application for an early adjournment.
Advocate Mhlamunyane, I suppose you've discussed this as a team and you are all agreeable on the proposed approach.
Yes, as a team, we are agreeable, but I must confess, I omitted to alert my learned colleagues.
No, I'm
the team.
I'm talking about your team.
Yes, we discussed that.
You discussed it.
Indeed, Madam Chair, we did.
The Border Management Authority says all ports of entry across South Africa remain stable and incident-free as delegations continue to arrive for the G20 summit. BMA Commissioner Dr. Michael Masiapato says heads of state, senior government officials and various high-level teams have been landing through the past 24 hours with no disruptions. Arrivals already processed include EU President Ursula von der Leyen, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, Malaysian President Anwar Ibrahim, the President of the European Council Antonio Costa, Vietnamese Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh, China's Premier Li Qiang, and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, among others. More delegations are expected to arrive throughout the day. BMA Deputy Assistant Commissioner for Communication and Marketing, Mmeme Mokgotsi.
Despite the heightened security environment, increased traveler volumes, and the complex coordination required across multiple ports of entries, all arrivals were processed efficiently. Our system across key ports of entries are fully operational, supported by the BMA ICT technicians deployed strategically at OR Tambo International Airport, Lanseria International Airport, Waterkloof Air Force Base.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi says he will present India's perspective on global economic cooperation and development challenges facing the global south at the G20 summit. During Modi's visit, he is also expected to hold bilateral talks with the President Cyril Ramaphosa and participate in the India-Brazil-South Africa or IBSA summit. Our correspondent in Delhi, Ishan Garg, has more.
As South Africa gears up for the first G20 summit on African soil, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi says this year's theme is a natural progression from India's presidency in 2023. Solidarity, equality and sustainability is South Africa's message to the world under its G20 presidency, which Mr. Modi says will be supported by India's vision of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, which means one earth, one family, one future. According to the Ministry of External Affairs, Prime Minister Modi is expected to speak in all three sessions of the summit, which runs through November 23rd. The main discussion themes include inclusive and sustainable economic growth, resilience and climate action, and critical issues like artificial intelligence.
Recapping the top story, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Velenkosini Hlabisa has welcomed the decision to officially declare gender-based violence and femicide a national disaster. I'm on Delambana for SFM News Alliance at 2:30.
You could spend 10 minutes waiting for that file to download. Or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For his 2024 Ford Ranger, 57-year-old Andy now pays only 1,083 Rand a month. And for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson, 48-year-old Felicity pays just 836 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
When love turns to hate and hate turns to violence, the truth is never simple. In Love and Hate Crime Season 2, real stories expose the dark side of human emotion, where identity, passion, and prejudice collide. Powerful, unflinching, unforgettable. These are the crimes that challenge what we think we know about love and humanity. Thursdays at 10 p.m. only on S3. S3. Open up. Yes.
This November, SFM proudly presents the 3rd annual lecture.
I do want to say that in the public service, there are also checks and balances. The fact that people may not have applied doesn't mean it's not there.
SAFM invites you to our third annual public lecture delivered by Chancellor of the Nelson Mandela University, Dr. Geraldine Fraser-Muleketi. The theme of the lecture is confronting inequality, corruption and unemployment.
Let's hold everyone accountable and to standards, whether you have a GNU or not.
The lecture will take place on the 27th of November 2025 at the Indaba Hotel, Spa and Conference Center in Four Ways, Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at rsvp@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
SABC News Channel 404 is your official host broadcaster for the G20 Summit from 5:30 p.m. till 11 p.m. Catch live coverage on SABC2 with continuous G20 programming from 5:30 a.m. Until midnight on SABC News Channel 404. You can also stream SABC News live on the dedicated G20 pop-up channel on SABC Plus. Don't miss a moment of the G20 with SABC.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
It is The Brothers Move On. Buleng is the title of this particular one. Hope you enjoyed it, bringing you a little bit of that jazz fusion vibe on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, today. Before we get to Usiwela Langeni, who's the co-founder of the Book Circle, and looking at those titles that you can add to your summer reading, we're just watching with great anticipation via SABC News 405, awaiting the Indian Prime Minister to deboard, to get on with the business of being in South Africa for the G20. I wonder what happens, just if we had to be flies on the wall. I wonder what happens inside these official planes just before the doors open, right? Because we know, you know your own sort of preparations when you are flying long haul, and then they tell you that we have begun our descent. You start straightening up, brush your teeth, you comb your hair because you're probably a little bit disheveled from the evening's flight. You just make sure that you're looking proper. So I wonder from their perspective inside there, what happens? Is there a debriefing as to what's going to happen when you descend the steps? These are the people you're going to meet. This person is going to be welcoming you, and then from here you're going to go there, and hada 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 hada. I just love to know, Uti, is it a different kind of preparation for deplaning than our normal people preparation for deplaning? I'm seeing the minister in the presidency, Uskumbuzo Chabeni, is actually standing by at the feet of the staircase, waiting to receive the Indian Prime Minister and his delegation as we welcome them to South Africa for that G20 summit. And India, of course, is a very key and strategic player when it comes to the world's economy. They are the world's fourth largest economy by nominal GDP, rather, and the third largest by purchasing power. Also, from a growth perspective, it's projected to be the fastest growing large economy for 2025-2026, with a growth rate of around 6.2%. We've seen that a lot of the growth is fueled actually by domestic demand, by government support, the stable inflation, and with the services sector, especially financial and provincial professional services, recovering quite strongly. Also big in advancing the conversation around AI and the democratization of AI on a global stage, and what would that mean from a developmental perspective. And I think there's a lot of learnings there for South Africa as well to take from India as leaders in that particular conversation. The doors seem to be opening slowly. This is where we're going to take a quick pause, and then we come back with Usiwela.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
SAFM supports a litter-free South Africa. Play your part in keeping our surroundings and environment clean. SAFM, leading the conversation. Extraordinary is built on innovation, and Vodacom Business is leading the way. Cloud that scales with your business. Security that earns trust. AI for smarter, faster decisions. IoT that connects systems and people. And connectivity that bridges every gap. With these technologies working together, Vodacom Business is helping to build a better connected, future-ready South Africa. Visit vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Vodacom Business, further together.
Lesotho does not mind visitors, provided 3 points remain in KZN. However, Swelele refused to travel to Durban as tourists. They want nothing but victory. This is the Midway Premiership. Isekazini forever. Amazulu FC versus Swelele FC on Saturday, 22 November at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Plus and SABC One. Then on SABC radio stations at 3:30 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
The Minister in the Presidency for Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, Sindisiwe Chikunga, will on the 25th of November 2025 officially launch the 16 Days of Activism for No Violence Against Women and Children under the theme Litsema, Men, Women, Boys and Girls, working together to end gender-based violence and femicide. Tune in to The Talking Point, coming to you live from the launch at the Gallagher Estate in Gauteng. Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
Siwela Langeni joins us now, co-founder of the book Circle Capital and author. And we're looking at 3 titles today. How are you doing, Siwela?
I'm good, thanks. And you, Bridget?
I'm fabulous. Oh, look how crispy white his outfit is. The Indian Prime Minister is descending.
You have my mind like in overdrive. You painted such a picture, like even just before they come out of the plane, I'm like, now my mind is ready.
If I had to be honest, we should have taken the show to Waterkloof. I would have been so happy. But let's get on with the business of talking books. And you've got 3 titles for us. Oh, I'm very excited. Dion Chang has got a book out.
Yes, Dion Chang has a book out published by Penn Macmillan. It's called A Perfect Life by Dion Chang. So this book, it talks about all things pets and how it's pet with practical advice from modern pet parents, along with hilarious deep dive into just how far we've gone to temper our fairy overload. Unpacks the latest trends from CBD anxious, pets to birthday parties, as well as paternity leave for new pet owners, while also taking the teacher side of pet parenting. So he speaks to an animal behavior expert, where he explores why we spend so much money on our pets, whether it's like tiny humans, whether treating them like tiny humans is actually a good idea. He's a pet dealer. I didn't even know this until I spoke about where he delves into the complexities of pet loss and saying goodbye. Yeah, so end of life where maybe your pet at end of its life or it's got down. So what are the processes? So I mean, from an internal dependency point of view, the amount of money that's spent towards pets is high. So I think that was necessary just so that fascinating life of pets. It reminds me that
Yes.
Animated kids, life of pets. But yeah, their life long term. I mean, we know his work. About 2 years ago called The Future. So with he also said it was the Flex Trend consultancy was talking about trends. So this is another trend that he's just gone into detail with about pet ownership called Perfect Life.
Yeah. And I was going to ask, Uti, it almost seemed like such a departure from what we know Dion Chang with a man who's had many evolutions of life, from being one of the foremost fashion authorities in the country to being a trend analyst who really is always got his finger on the pulse of what's the next thing. And now talking about pets, but as you explain it and talk about it, I think, well, I guess it does kind of intersect with a lot of the work that Flux Trends does, because if you just look at how our behavior as pet parents has evolved in recent years, it speaks to understanding a lot of trends that may come from that.
Absolutely. So you're so right. He's evolved himself many times. He invented it, but it all just makes sense. For yourself. So that's another reason. Because of just how big this, where I live in my neighborhood, once, twice a week, I see like the cars that come just to clean pets. That is a line on your budget monthly. Just the food in my local shopping center, the pet shop, that's private.
Yeah.
So that tells you that demand. Some people are even have children, but that wouldn't mind having a kid.
Absolutely.
So it's something worth reading about and what better to eat from someone like you.
Absolutely. Just as a parting footnote, I mean, I'm a dog mom over and above being a human mom. And it was interesting for me the other day. I walked into Fourways Shopping Center and I thought, since I'm in Fourways with the baby, I don't want to make another stop somewhere else. Let me just buy my pet food here at this pet store, which is not my regular pet store. And when I got to the counter, I saw the lady was wearing a Checkers uniform. I was like, wait, Checkers has standalone pet stores now? But that just tells you the pet economy is really a growing economy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Let's get on with the other books that you've got in store for us. You've got two more titles.
Two more titles, kiddie books. These books are special, Bridget, in the sense that they are written by authors that are no longer with us, but the books have been revived by Revived Books. This is a publishing house that's run by Chani and Keti Wengo, their daughters of Sado Salwat, Umamu Topuzile Chan and Umamu Loretan. So they exile in Zambia and always written. So maybe let me just want to get a dancing daycare by Topuzile Chan. It just drives the child's imagination to run wild as they color the picture of different animals and trying to help them with their alphabet. 26 animals or 26 items from taxi to town, from gorilla to guava. Every letter they give people, items to just excite the child with a little story. It's a coloring book, but it's a little story where each Kennedy kept. So it's all about driving a child to be much younger, toddlers, what your child learns, read, write, and color within the lines and laugh out loud of animal adventures. So goes with Shani and over 40 children's books and many materials. She was the innovative work was inspired by amazing young readers in countries. Her work has been published in English, Tonga, Xhosa, and Zulu, while showcasing the richness of multilingual stories. And the other book, He Learns to Like Other People by Loretta Noble. Siki Fakade is an identical twin to Mosisa. While most people can't tell them apart, they really couldn't be more different. So Fiki enjoys playing nasty tricks on other people, even adults. So while Fiki didn't really Mosisa but one day he's confronted by a most embarrassing way because of his terrible behavior. So it was like a teaser, so it's historic profiling twins and the differences, though they may look alike, the differences in personality. But I just think these books are special because they were written a while back. They're fully vibe. They've managed to set them back because these mothers wrote a lot while they were in exile. And it's going to be launching together on Saturday, the 29th of November. So to celebrate the work of this thriving rise on was just to try and balance out screens on our children and just try and revive the love of pleasure.
Oh, sounds absolutely incredible indeed. I love that we've considered the younger learners in our book list. So moms and dads and aunts and uncles can ensure to get a read or two underneath the Christmas tree. Siwela, thank you so much for the time. That was Siwela Langeni, co-founder of the Book Circle Capital. And every Friday she comes through and we talk all things books. They've just finished with the Prime Minister of India. He's just left Waterkloof airport, and it was lovely to see. I was asking my producers, Uti, what do we call the vendor women who are dressed in the traditional cloth and dancing on the tarmac? I'm not too sure. If you're listening and if there is a particular maybe term in Shivenda for the ladies who welcome dignitaries and welcome people of importance during cultural festivities, because they were doing a presentation for the Indian Prime Minister, and he seemed to relish in all of it. It's just nice to see what is being displayed, which cultural elements of South Africa are being showcased with each one of these arrivals that are taking place between OR Tambo and Waterkloof Airport. You know, the other thing, and I tweeted this morning, I was tweeting Minister Lamula's spokesperson to just wish them well. on the weekend ahead. Them and the team, may everything go well for them. But I also thought, wow, matters of arranging for diplomatic visits and visits by head of states, there's so many little nuanced things that you have to think about. And this thought came to my mind when I saw the UK Prime Minister arriving, and I instantly thought, is he going to be whisked away in a German car? Because he tweeted very cheekily that they were parked next to the Germans at Waterkloof. He was rather excited to be arriving in South Africa, so he tweeted from inside the plane before he disembarked in the morning to say that, haha, we are parked next to the Germans. And then I thought to myself, well, I wonder if they're going to whisk him away in a German car. Or are they going to make efforts to find, like a Land Rover? I'm presuming Land Rover is British, right? It's a British manufacturer. So I was like, oh, maybe they'll find Land Rovers, because you have to think about all these things, because some people are sensitive about such things. You know what I mean? And now looking at the Indian Prime Minister, I also took note of that to see, okay, what does his motorcade look like? And it was a mixture yet again of British and German. And I thought, well, where are all the Indian manufacturers? Surely they should have had all the Indian cars coming to, scoop him up. But maybe people are not as sensitive as I think they might be around such things. I don't know. It's 2:30 on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Mamboloko Kubai, says security is being heightened in the country's courts nationwide. Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Velenkosini Tlhabisa has welcomed the decision to officially declare gender-based violence and femicide a national disaster. And Nigerian officials say gunmen have kidnapped an unknown number of pupils from a Catholic school in Niger State. Some reports say almost 100 pupils and staff may have been taken. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Nali Bali. Have you ever helped in the kitchen before? Maybe you stirred the pot, washed some veggies, set the table, or even helped bake something delicious? Learning to cook or even just helping can be so much fun. Cooking is not just about the food, it's about learning new skills, working together, and showing love to your family. When you help in the kitchen, you also learn patience, responsibility, and the joy of creating something tasty that everyone can enjoy. And guess what? You don't have to be a grown up to start learning. Even small things like passing ingredients, mixing, or helping to clean up make a big difference. So today, let's remember that cooking and helping in the kitchen isn't just about food. It's about caring, sharing, learning, and being part of a team at home. Now let's listen to today's story called The Food Whisperer, written by Pumla Mavimbela. But before we listen to today's story, let's all get up and... There once was a woman who had a very good sense of taste. She knew exactly what ingredients were in a dish and how the dish had been prepared. She was known as the food whisperer. Cooks from all over the world invited her to come and taste their special dishes so they could put her to the test. But no recipe was too difficult for the food whisperer's amazing sense of taste.
Mmm. You steam these veggies? Oh, then stir fry them. And then added peppers, half a clove of garlic and some curry, and just a pinch of chili salt to taste.
Said the food whisperer.
My word! How did you know about the pinch of chili salt?
Said the chef as he fell to his knees.
It was easy. After all, I am the food whisperer.
Replied the food whisperer, smiling. The food whisperer tasted many dishes from different countries, and no matter how complicated they were, she always worked out the recipe and could name the ingredients. Some chefs would try to test her by using tricky recipes with lots of ingredients.
You'll never figure out the recipe I used to make this dish,
said one chef, giving her a bowl of noodles. The food whisperer gave the chef a confident smile and spun her noodles around her fork. She chewed and then swallowed the mouthful of food. After a moment of silence, she said,
Well, chef, first you boiled your noodles, then you froze them, and then you boiled them again with some whole spice, black cardamom, and some green peppercorns, and then finally added beef stock and salt.
The chef laughed and clapped his hands.
I win! I beat the food whisperer! I beat the food whisperer!
He shouted as he jumped on the table and began dancing. He stepped down from the table and said to her,
You forgot to mention one important ingredient.
But the food whisperer simply smiled and said,
Don't underestimate me. I know what it is.
The chef could not believe his ears.
No, it's not possible. You couldn't have guessed it.
The food whisperer folded her arms and replied,
Well, you boiled a red cabbage and then drained the water to use for your noodles.
The chef cried out in frustration and fell to his knees. The food whisperer had once again proved how incredible her sense of taste was. One day, however, a farmer invited the food whisperer to come and taste his favorite dish. When she arrived at his farm, he greeted her kindly and pulled out a chair for her to sit on. Then he placed a simple plate of idombolo and stew on the table in front of her. The food whisperer laughed.
This is a joke. You can't be serious. I can name all the ingredients in this dish without even tasting it.
I don't doubt that for a second. But please, make an old man happy and tasty,
pleaded the farmer. After a moment, the food whisperer sighed, pulled out her fork and began eating. The idombolo was soft and delicious, but she couldn't tell what ingredient made it so sweet. One bite was not enough to solve the mystery, so she scooped up more, and more, and some more. This time the flavor was different. She threw her fork to one side and dug in with her hands.
What? I don't understand.
She murmured as she chewed some more.
Oh my word, the taste just keeps getting better.
Eventually, the food whisperer picked up the plate and started licking it clean.
And how was it?
Asked the farmer.
Oh, it was amazing. But I'm still not sure about all the ingredients you used. I really can't understand why my famous sense of taste has let me down today,
admitted the food whisperer.
It's actually quite simple,
said the farmer with a smile.
When you allow yourself to enjoy food that has been prepared for you, you can't think about the recipe and ingredients, and that's the way it should be.
The food whisperer then did something she had never done before. With tears in her eyes, she stood up and bowed to the farmer. Then she said,
thank you for the delicious meal. and especially for your wise, wise words. I'm not going to worry about recipes and ingredients anymore. I'm rather going to use my amazing sense of taste to enjoy my food from now on.
And so we come to the end of another Nali Bali story time. Today's story was called The Food Whisperer, written by Pumla Mavimbela. Did you know that reading and telling stories to children at home can help them do better at school? If you want free stories to read to your children or for your children to enjoy on their own, visit the Nali Bali website www.nalibali.org or Mobi site www.nalibali.mobi. You will find stories in 11 South African languages as well as tips for reading and sharing stories with your children to grow their potential. Also look out for the bilingual Nali Bali Reading for Enjoyment supplement with great children's stories and activities available in newspapers. Nali Bali, it starts with a story.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
What's one more thing you can do for a child today? Could it be one clinic visit for their next vaccination?
Or say something that will really tickle my brain.
Maybe one healthy lunchbox snack to fuel their day.
Or say something that makes me feel good about myself.
Or one strong no to alcohol in your home.
Just one thing today could change our tomorrow. Visit holdmyhand.org.za.
Carnival Club is counting 3 points on home ground. Meanwhile, the Kragkouwers refuse to travel back home without a win. This is the Bundesliga, football as it's meant to be. Catch FSV Mainz versus TSG Hoffenheim on Friday, 21 November at 9:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
I wanna be there when the people start to turn it around, when they triumph over poverty. I wanna be there when the people win the battle against AIDS. I wanna lend a hand. I wanna be there for the alcoholic. I wanna be there for the drug addict. I wanna be there for the victim. victims of violence and abuse. I wanna lend a hand, say, to my mina, to my mina, so young, to my mina, to my mina, so young, against it. I wanna lend a hand. I wanna be there for the victims of violence and abuse. I wanna lend a hand. Say, to my mina, to my mina, so to my mina, to my mina, so
It is the late great Hugh Masekela. Send Me to Mamina is the name of this particular song, and we can never hear it without reflecting back on President Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address when he said we must to Mamina. And here we are today with the G20 summit weekend upon us indeed. As we prepare to wrap up the show from our end and hand over to Ashraf, who'll be more concerned with the matters on the agenda for the weekend. We are going to wrap up with Upindile Duma, former Banyana Banyana player and founder and lead of the Pindile Duma Sports Foundation. And we're looking at sport as a tool for development. How are you doing this afternoon, Pindile?
Hi, good day. Good day, my darling. I'm okay.
Fabulous. So glad to have you on the show. We appreciate the time. Let's have this conversation around sports being a tool for development. You will be hosting the first event to honor the legendary township sports coaches at the annual Multipurpose Sports Festival in appreciation for their hard work and commitment in using sport as a tool for development. Before we even get to the event, tell us a little bit about the foundation and some of the work that you are preoccupied with.
Okay, foundation that founded, obviously, with the objective, developing sports in the township, also in the rural communities, because in the past years I've actually
not really township, but also other provinces like KZN, Northern Cape, Mpumalanga, and also I've mentioned just the situation and interest.
Mm.
And I'm also an advocate for township and rural development.
Pindile, can we just, sorry to interject, sorry, Ungena Mlonyeni, can we just take a quick break quickly? Your phone audio just keeps dipping in and out, so we keep losing you every couple of words. We just want to see if we can sort that out quickly. Let's take a quick pause and we'll be right back.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. Easy to apply, no medical examinations, and no paperwork. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's 48031. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Masandawana want to ensure that their DRC visitors have no say in Pretoria, the country's capital city. Meanwhile, the Railmen are committed to a decent result away from home. This is the Group C first leg clash of the CAF Champions League. Mamelodi Sundowns FC versus FC Saint Eloi Lupopo. This Saturday, 22 November at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC Plus and SABC2. Then on SABC radio stations at 3 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
What's one more thing you can do for a child today? Could it be one clinic visit for their next vaccination?
Or say something that will really tickle my brain.
Maybe one healthy lunchbox snack to fuel their day.
Or say something that makes me feel good about myself.
Or one strong no to alcohol in your home.
Just one thing today could change our tomorrow. Visit holdmyhand.org.za.
The Green Eagles believe nothing will stop them from flying high with 3 points on Egyptian soil. However, the Glamour Boys want to wrap up the weekend with a special message for their fans. This is the Group D first leg contest of the CAF Confederation Cup. Catch Al Masri SC versus Kaizer Chiefs FC this Sunday, 23 November at 5:30 p.m. live on SABC3 and SABC Plus. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
All right, South Africa is taking its place on the world stage at the B20 and G20 Summit 2025, and Telkom is proud to stand with the nation building a digital future that reaches every community through reliable fiber, mobile, and cloud networks. They're connecting families, small businesses, and young people to new opportunities. Telkom is helping drive digital public infrastructure so services are easier to access for all, that is. Telkom, the digital backbone of South Africa's future.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
Let's see if we can have a better connection now to Pindile Duma, former Banyana Banyana player and founder and lead of the Pindile Duma Sports Foundation. Pindile, hopefully the phone line will not let us down. Just quickly, you were giving us some background around the foundation and the work that it is occupied with.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, as I was saying, the foundation, I started the foundation with the objective of continuing to obviously develop talent in the rural and township communities. But for this year and the next year, the focus will be on the township itself. And that's exactly what we're doing. We've got a school program where we support venture in the township, and it's got a community program where we do programs. Yes, that's the vision and the mandate of the foundation.
And using sport as a recreation, but also as a tool for social development. How important is that and the impact that sport has, particularly on young South Africans?
Sport for me is a way of life, my darling, because sport is health, sport is education, sport is what you call this, there are many social ills that we see today because of the fact that in support, particularly for the township and rural communities, is not as strong as it's supposed to be. Even the parents in the townships, they don't really support the clubs and the coaches do the wonderful work of raising young people in sports, just like I was raised by coaches. And these coaches, hence I'm doing the event on the 12th, where we're going to be giving them gifts to honor them for the hard work and contributions that they've made, to many of us. Our parents, the parents, they don't support, coaches, and coaches are struggling. You can go to any province in any community, you find it's a similar problem. The only place where coaches are doing well and they've got financial gains in what they do is mostly the suburbs. So the parents there, they understand the mandate. This is a very important instrument for developing young talent and making sure that young people they stay away from drugs and crime, and all these unwanted mischief. So for me, it's very important to honor these coaches because for the many years that they've been raising young people in communities in the townships, they've never been honored and they've never been given the recognition that they deserve. So I think it's time for our township coaches, to get the support that they deserve. Hence, the event is coming on the 12th of December.
Yeah. Are you able to give us a name or two of one of the coaches that's been celebrated and honored on the evening, but also on how do we begin to develop new sports coaches for the future across all townships and rural areas that can step in, and carry on the baton where these coaches have left off?
Okay, to name a few, there's the one coach who raised me for many years is Simpo Shafis from Epiri. So I think so in for about 5 years. And there's also Coach Adam Munati because I did join Sundown at some point. I wasn't there for long, but she showed, so much support and care towards us when we were young, even at the time, because at the time when I was young, there was no monetary benefit to coaching. We didn't even get paid, at the time. And also, people at Florida, because she was with us when we went to play in the US at the night World Cup under 15 for South Africa. So that's the three coaches that I can name that I'm going to be honoring amongst the other coaches, coaches in total. Coaches that coach other coaches such as tennis, basketball, also and netball, because I feel like they also deserve to be recognized and supported, through this intervention.
Absolutely. By way of public support, particularly for the work that you do through the foundation, how do people get involved? How do people help to amplify your efforts? And I talk of individuals and corporates as well.
Yes, please. We need all the support that we can get because working in the township, unfortunately, will not really make a lot of money because parents are not forthcoming in terms of plowing money into that sort of development. So as a coach, you are faced with the responsibility of making sure you apply resources, you train the kids, it's all on you. So if people want to support our opening ceremony or the tournament that is coming, they can reach me on 064 61 6727, or they can go onto our Facebook page to see the Mascot Foundation and they can just check out our page. But for the most, if they can just reach out to me via telephone, via WhatsApp, or phone call, I really appreciate it because I'm really in need of tips from every corner, everywhere, because I think for the many years that these legendary coaches have served, they've never got a thank you, and even at the time when support was not there up until now, they still need, to recognize. Some of them don't have houses, but these are people who have served community for many years. Some of them are poor, they're living in poverty. So the aim is really just to say, because we've made such a big transformation and improvement, especially with women people, but let's look at the people who planted the seed, for us to be where we are, like Abu Anamunati. And for me, I'd really appreciate it if anyone out there has got anything, if they want to join ventures with us, if they want to hold hands with us in making this mission a success, I would really appreciate it.
Wonderful. Pindile Duma, we wish you the very best. Founder of the Pindile Duma Sports Foundation and doing incredible work there, especially with this event that's coming up on the 13th of December at the Molitsani Sports Complex, where different sporting codes will be played. And of course, honoring legendary coaches in various codes who have had an impact in local communities in just steering the talents of young sports stars and ensuring that these kids stay on track and go on perhaps to even adorn national colors like Upindila herself. And as you heard, the call to action there for you, if you're an individual, if you're corporate, you have a resource that you think you can help her amplify her efforts and really just say thank you to the coaches for a stellar job well done through decades for some of them. You can be in contact with her via the foundation, or you can make contact with us and we'll put you in direct contact with her. That was Upindile Duma, former Banyana rather player, my apologies, and founder and lead of the Pindile Duma Sports Foundation. That's all the time we have today. I said to my team just now that I'm going to go home and I'm going to go rewind my TVs and see if there's anything that I missed, because I don't want to miss anything at all. Ashraf is standing by. He's going to unpack everything that is on the G20 agenda over this weekend. And then tomorrow we have a special broadcast happening with Kathy Mhlatlanya and Bongiwe Zwane. So you want to definitely stay tuned for that. It's going to be running through from the morning until 10 a.m., bringing you everything that's coming out of NASRAC. We'll see you on social media. Have yourself an incredible weekend. If you can avoid it, if you live within the areas of range for all the heads of state, just stay indoors like the rest of us. Inshallah, God willing, we get to do it again.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Thank you, Bridget, and the team on the top story. Security heightened in South Africa's courts and a number of pupils kidnapped in Niger State. For SFM News, I'm on Delambana, and a very good afternoon. The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Mamuloko Kubai, says security is being heightened in the country's courts nationwide. Kubai says a number of security breaches occurred in several courts recently, especially in the Western Cape and Gauteng. Among the incidents was a murder committed within the premises of the Athlone Magistrates Court, while an unlicensed gun that was smuggled in at the Wynberg Regional Magistrate Court. Both incidents happened in Cape Town. Kubai says these developments have shown some serious security weaknesses.
It's based on case by case. I mean, as the issues in courts complicates, yes, it does, and it's something that we shouldn't, but we are dealing with it. Where assessments are being done, judges are being protected. We're trying to work out what are the models of courts that could be, where the entrances are not the same as the public for the judicial officers and all those things. So we are looking into that, and so the St. Johannesburg had to take and put because there was not only by presiding officers, but even those who are coming to court. So engaging with crowding, for example, to be able to provide even shuttles amongst our courts so that it's safer.
Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Velenkosini Hlabisa has welcomed the decision to officially declare gender-based violence and femicide a national disaster. This as women and men across the country have embarked on a shutdown, bringing focus